So the new job, the new title I've got is Head of Marketing and Media for ISAF, the International Sailing Federation. So I've been in it a few weeks now. But I suppose the restructure of that department, which was originally called Communications and now Marketing and Media, is really following the lines of the current executive that's been in for this Olympiad.
And what are you hoping to achieve primarily in the role? What do you want to do differently?
I guess there's many things. I suppose in a nutshell though, one of the big drives from the executives to actually commercialise our sport, to get more events that they control, and I suppose in some ways to commercialise ISAF, but also to create commercial opportunities for our athletes, for our Olympic athletes. And a great example of that is around the Sailing World Cup and all the TV sponsorship, the whole commercialising of that whole event or product, if you want to look at it from ISAF's point of view. There's many other areas within my role as well. Obviously, communications or PR. Historically, I think it's pretty obvious to say that ISAF hasn't been very good at that, and that's something that they want to do better. And to quote the president, Carlo Croce, he said the ISAF needs to smile. Our people out there need to know what they're doing, because they're doing, from what his analysis and what his study has done, they're doing quite a good job. 90% of what they do, he says, is very good, and so it needs to be told and shown to the sailing public out there, so they, I suppose, understand and then also trust what ISAF is doing. And I guess then there's also all the areas that fall under that department, websites, and we've got I've got a few staff members to look after, all the media releases that we have to do, all the communications with the Olympic Committee, with the IPC as well now, with disabled sailing falling in under ISAF. So yeah, multiple different areas, talking with Rio organisers already, and also, or more so already, is the 2020 Japanese organisers of the sailing there as well. So things are all full steam ahead.
To the highest ISAF World Cup, how did the new initiatives, particularly with paying the sailors prize money and qualifying the top sailors, how did that work at the latest World Cup?
Oh, certainly with the qualifications, that was the first I suppose, using the ranking system and using the process before it. I think it worked very well, to the point many, let's say boats as in teams, were trying to use different scenarios to get themselves qualified into the top 30, or using different scenarios to use the extra 10 quota that came from the Palmer pre-regatta as a pre-qualifier. So a lot of athletes went to an extreme effort to make it, which is a good sign. And also the other great sign was, of all the invitations that went out, I think there was only one that was rejected, and that was because of health reasons. And believe it or not, it was the Australian 470 cruise that pulled out last minute. So as a sign from the sailors, that was a phenomenal sort of position, and it's good to see that for our Olympic sailors that are aspiring in that realm, they're trying to qualify and get to this premium event, a bit like a Grand Slam in tennis. In the old system, anybody could enter and go, but of course we all know that to get to a Grand Slam in tennis, you must do a pre-qualification along the way. So it's great to see that happen in that top end of our sport, fed through the YouTube channel. So I guess you can get online and watch it, but yeah, that's another thing we need to investigate, is try to get to some of the TV stations, and some talks have already begun around the Sail Melbourne regatta. Obviously that being the local Australian World Cup event would be a great way for them to start. So we've got a bit of time up our sleeves to negotiate that before December this year. And
on a personal note, obviously you're now having to move to Southampton in the United Kingdom. How's that going down at home?
Look, I've been about a month in the job now, absolutely loving it. And of course it was always my dream to, after my sporting career, if you want to call it, my Olympic sporting career, because I still race competitively, but my Olympic side of things, I always wanted to get into sports administration, Admittedly, I did have some shaky times after the London Olympics, and I suppose trying to find my pathway. But I know this last month, and I know my efforts towards getting this role have been all in the right direction. So it's been fabulous. I'm not overly excited moving from Sydney to Southampton. But maybe just call me an Aussie misplaced in the UK. Maybe. But saying that, we've got some great sporting events coming up in the UK this year. Obviously the Ashes, the Rugby World Cup, and even in my marketing team, we've got an Englishman, a Welshman, and obviously me being an Australian. And I know those three countries are in that pool of death in the qualification phase of the World Cup. So it'll make some interesting conversations in the office.
And you'll hope you finish with bragging rights.
I hope I will, but I might just wait and see when it comes to the rugby, because I know we're not going so well, but I'm pretty confident with the cricket.